Hey everyone, welcome. As you come on in, we are just waiting on our special guest today. We're anticipating an episode with Ken Harbaugh. However, we do know that he may not be able to make it today. There's a lot that has been going on since the last we spoke. And he interacts on a much bigger basis than we do right now, and with a lot of people. And I give people the benefit of all the doubts right now, especially those who are working on our side,
Oh,
who
yeah.
are doing the right things and who are doing things really, really well. So I just want to say there's a reason I entitled this show Valiantly. Um, Forget the entire name of the episode. I want to make sure I have it correct. And I will say it correctly too before we get going. But it's about Ken Harbaugh is one of the leads both on he is a member of the Midas Touch Network. He is also a lead on the Valor Media Network. Um and that is really the important one today is, and I said that titled it Valiantly We Rise Together.
Mm.
Um, because valor is a big piece of it. Like there has to be honor and integrity and value and meaning behind what we're doing so that people want to join us and want to be on our side because our side is right. What we're doing is right, like fighting for people and value and dignity and ensuring everybody has rights and freedom is right, is the correct things to do. And so I'm I'm glad that we're able to be here. So Fred, thanks for joining me today.
Of
It's good to
course.
see you, brother.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you too, dude. I mean, it's not like there hasn't been a few things that are going on in the veteran space
Oh,
affecting all of us, you know. So,
specifically today too, with the VA policy change discussion that's going on.
right.
um, that I had started introducing in our earlier episode on the Sick of This Show with Walter Ryan was the VA has put out a policy memo change, and I'm going to talk about this later too. Hopefully, we can pull our friend Jacob on, who is another veteran. Um, and
Because heaven forbid that Trump and maggots don't do something to hate women, that don't do something to try to take a right away from women, whether it be veterans or just regular old citizens. You know, if
yeah,
if if a woman has something that is outside of complete submissiveness and being a second class citizen, heaven forbid, you know.
heaven
So
forbid. Yeah.
so what so you what's so tell the folks what's going on with the VA.
Yeah. So what's going on with the VA is there is a policy change that is being proposed to that is anti-choice for our female veterans. It is a discriminatory VA policy change that they are trying to make to send a message and test the waters. And when I say they, I mean the regressive Republican Party led by Donald Trump and whoever is in charge next to him, right, and says something in his ear last, are taking women's rights away and are discriminating or want to discriminate against our female veterans.
Yep.
It is a test case for the rest of the female population and women's rights across the country. They are trying to make it so that it is illegal for veterans who are women or female to have abortions.
Yep.
And they're guising it as an anti-abortion bill. It's just discrimination against women. It's discrimination. It's bigoted. It's ugly. It's reeks of Pete Hegseth because he is a discriminatory, anti-woman, bigoted piece of garbage who deserves to be the scum underneath my boot.
And I,
Because he doesn't even deserve that because he he hates women And he has
Yes.
removed every woman who is in a position of power, be them white or a woman of color. He has removed every single woman from a leadership position in the military that he can possibly do and replaced them with incompetent white men who do not deserve those positions because they
Nope.
did not earn them. They were given them, and those leaders were taken away. And he wants women out of the service. And it started with the trans women. And if you don't think you're next, the poem says, when they came for me and no one spoke out, right? Well, speak out. So I'm asking every single person who is here, who is part of Banner and Backbone, who's part of Sick of This Shit with Nick, who's part of Missives with a Middle-Aged Man, that's here with Fred. I'm going to drop a link in the show notes when this show is over. Chris Goldsmith called it out on the Find Out podcast. Go watch their episode because they said it and it's really important. And also, they're fucking awesome. Those guys know what they're talking about. Listen to what they got to say. But Chris Goldsmith called it out, and I'm taking it the step further. It is your civic duty, because if you care or have ever said you care about a woman in your life and claim to be a feminist or just pro women, or that women are people and are equals,
Yep.
then you need to go to the link that I'm going to add to our show notes after the show ends and sign the petition with a personalized message saying how this would impact you, or how it has impacted someone you know, or how it has impacted a life. And I'll give you an example you can all easily use and add to a personalized message. It will impact my family. You know me because you know Nick Parrow. You've listened to me. You're here with me. It will directly impact my family, not because my wife wants to have an abortion or would need one, but it impacts her because it's an attack on her rights and her health care, which is an attack on me and my family,
Yep.
which is attack on a veteran that you know and trust and listen to. And it is your duty now to go to the webpage that I'll link. I'll even link it here in the comments so that people can do it while we're in the show. If you can do it, go sign a comment while you're listening and spread this show and invite people while you're doing it and say, hey, they're protecting women's rights, because it's your constitutional duty and it is your civic duty and it's your patriotic duty. And it's just your duty, especially if you're a man,
Hmm.
to protect and defend those you love. And now is the chance. If you've ever said you have any courage in your life and you care about a woman, you care about any woman in your life, you care about your rights in any way, sign this petition, because the right-wing trolls are going to sign it in God
Oh
knows how
yeah,
many numbers.
they're gonna flood it. You know,
And if
and
that gets
I
flooded,
think
the Trump administration is going to go, yep, we're just going to take anti-choice laws as what the American people are saying is okay. And if that's what their message is, guess what? You're next. They're coming after Obergefell. They're coming after women's rights. They're coming after your right to vote. They're coming after your right to own things. They want to control every single aspect of your life as a woman. And first, they're doing it with the veterans. They started with the trans veterans by taking their retirements away and their access to healthcare. Now they're doing it to the women. Look how that works. Look how quickly that goes. We're the test case. No one is saying anything other than us and
yeah,
Chris Goldsmith and the Find Out team. And we're going to continue to shout it from the roof, sign it, because it impacts someone you know. You know me. So it impacts someone you know.
I want to launch on this real quick because like
No, go. I'm going to
a
find the petition link while you launch on
yeah.
this.
Yeah, so like I think a lot of this, and I'll probably do a longer piece about this too, is we ascribe every bad thing to Donald Trump. And in this case, I'm of the opinion that this is all Pete Hegseth, all of it.
Yes.
Because Donald Trump surrounds himself with both yes men, but also really freaking horrible men, horrible people, horrible men and women. And Hegseth is a virulent racist of racist and misogynist of another kind. Because let's not forget, Hegseth It's not like he climbed the ranks in the military. It's
Nope.
not like he got up to lieutenant colonel, full bird, even to the general ranks. No, no, no. I think he was like a major in the National Guard of the Reserves, which, look, there's nothing wrong with that. But to be in the position he's in, no. So again, there are much smarter, much more competent women that have climbed higher than him. He's been accused of being not just, like a sexual assaulter, but a drunk and an abuser of women. So much so, his a letter from his mother was made public where his own mother addressed what kind of a horrible man he was towards women,
Hmm.
specifically towards women. He's fathered multiple children in multiple marriages. And again, that can happen. But when you put that in a context in the church he goes to, that his pastor has advocated for repealing the 19th Amendment and saying that heads of households should vote, right? You're talking about some serious, horrible misogyny, serious, horrible misogyny. And we're seeing it now. And we've already seen where some of the decisions coming out of the DOD, Trump didn't say those, like when they called back the missiles from Ukraine. There was supposed to be a shipment of Patriot missiles that was going over there. They got recalled. And then it was like, oh, I don't know anything about that. Lo and behold, it was Pete Hegseth. I guarantee you the trans stuff, this now with women, it's Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. And I want to answer Linda's question in the chat.
Go
She
for it.
asks, is Hegseth going to resign? The answer
No.
is no. Hegseth will not resign because he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing for them. He is creating a white crusader army. That's what
Mhm.
he wants. He wants a white crusader military, and that's all he wants. He just wants white people in the military. He just wants white men in the military. But guess what? That's not how the American military works. The
Yep.
American military does not work that way because when recruiting season comes, it ain't white people they come recruiting from.
Nope.
It's inner city black people, it's Hispanic people,
Mhm.
it ain't white people. They let you go to they let us go to college first and
Right.
become officers so that we can sit in the cushy chairs and tell the brown and black people where to go die. But that's what they want. They want a white Christian male army. That's it. They don't care about anybody else. They don't want anybody else. And if you're outside their worldview, this is the first time in U.S. history that we will have a Secretary of Defense and Ooh, let's pull. Melissa, are you free
Yeah, let's get Melissa
to?
Corrigan in
Melissa,
here.
can you
Like,
join us?
well, wait, wait,
This is a talk.
wait, hold
This
on,
is
hold
a
on, hold
talk
on.
no,
Hold on.
this is a talk I want Melissa in on.
Well, no, we're talking about women's issues in the military. Do we really want a woman veteran in here to talk about women's? I mean, we're two
No,
men. We can talk
I
about
think we
this. We
can
don't need Melissa.
really,
You know?
just explain this as strong men telling everybody
Yeah.
that they need to listen to our opinion only. Melissa's never had to worry about going through anything in the military because the military is notoriously known for being so good to women. Like they're notoriously known. Oh shit, I think I lost Fred too. Can you all hear me? I lost Fred. I'm gonna invite Fred back in too. See, we've been having Substack trouble all day too. Like they're they're really coming at us. They don't like us today.
You have to put
Substack,
me over it,
dude,
man. What the
Substack
heck?
doesn't like us today. Like I
You
couldn't,
didn't have to
Lawrence
kick
couldn't,
me out
Lawrence
for
couldn't
being
start the
right.
live. I know, man, you're too right. You're
I
too
know.
right.
Look, look,
We don't need women to tell their stories because men can tell it
especially a
for them.
potty mouth like freaking, Melissa.
Yeah, we don't need that potty mouth Melissa to come in
Oh, here
here
it comes.
and talk
Here
about
it comes.
women's rights. Because hey, so Melissa, did you hear um that the VA is trying to take the right to abortion and choice away from women veterans?
Hold on,
I
I'm
heard
looking
it
for my
this morning
I'm
on the
looking for
Find
my
Out
helmet.
podcast. Oh, hold on, before I let Melissa talk,
I'm
I have
looking
to
for my helmet.
mansplain the whole situation to her. I need to make sure she is just as furious as we are,
Oh yeah.
because I'm like I've already told everyone, like, like at this point, if you know me, you already know a veteran that's impacted by this, and so go fucking sign this comment section, public comment section, because this is a government document that you're signing to give a public feedback on it. It's literally your civic duty to go give this feedback to. I'm going to put it in the chats. I'm going to put it in all the feedback. Melissa, I was informed this morning by Chris Goldsmith that the VA has decided they want to enact a discrimination policy to not allow women veterans who have served our country, who have gone to war for our country, who have been injured, who have Purple Hearts for our country, who have come back and have disabilities for our country, who are not the same they were when they left for a deployment or before they went in the army, and who notoriously are assaulted. And we have a Secretary of Defense who is an assaulter himself, and a
Yep.
bigot and a hateful piece of shit. I know me and Bobby Jones talked about Mr. Pete the Taint Keg's Breath, our Secretary of Defense. Can you enlighten me, please, on how you feel about that? And I'm going to just drop the link on. Please go sign this petition and give a personal account saying that you dissent with the government changing the policy because discrimination is bad.
Well, I think it's crazy that like you guys know my story, but I'll recap just a little bit. There was constant SA when I was active duty in the Navy, and the Navy issued me 5 years expired birth control, 5 years expired birth control. And that is how I became pregnant with my oldest child. And upon finding out, when I went into the ship's doctor and he confirmed, there were 5 other women on my ship who had been issued that same expired birth control. And I find it really fucking funny that in 2004, they sure enough offered me an abortion. They sure enough said, you know what? If you don't want this, we'll have it taken care of. No problem. Let's go. Because we were at war then and they needed bodies. And
Wait,
so,
but I
first
thought
of
there was a
all,
national emergency going on right now. Shouldn't it, isn't a
so,
national emergency that we would need all these new ICE agents and lowering the standards for everything else, like that we're trying to expand our military to have them, policing our streets? Don't you think a national emergency would
yes,
require more inclusion into the military? So why
you
are
would
we hurting
you
our
would think so.
veterans?
You would think so. Well, I think because, first of all, I think we're all getting the sense that across the board, the status of veteran is losing power by the day. You have veterans being assaulted on the streets in LA, Portland, and DC. They are pulling weapons, they are firing tear gas in the faces of veterans. So the status of veteran altogether is just losing, it's losing power by the day. Unfortunately, I feel that. And as a female, from the moment there's always been sort of a double standard between men and women in the military. When I got to boot camp, we were told you will take birth control. You can get an injection, you can get a pill, but you will be on birth control while you are here. None of the guys got vasectomies. That was crazy, and that's an easily reversible process. So even Catholic women who went into boot camp were told, I don't give a fuck what your religion is. As long as you are here, you are our property. I literally can't count how many times I was told that I was their property in the first 90
Yeah,
days in the military. So you're our property, and that means your uterus is our property. And so we're going to do what we need to do to make sure you don't get knocked up in boot camp. And I love the subtle accusation of, you're just a whore that's going to whore around in boot camp, which is incredibly difficult to do if you did want to do that anyway. And
yeah,
then,
it's not like there aren't guards or anything.
right. And then as soon as we get to the ship, we get our physical on the ship, and all women are given STD testing, which we are then given every single fucking year we were in the military. And come to find out, when I talk to my guy friends in the military, that's not happening.
Nope.
So my point
Nope.
here is that women have been
Can confirm.
treated.
Hold on. Before you go too far, can confirm.
Oh, I can confirm for
Hold
you.
that point in your mouth right now, because I want to hear all of the rest of this, but can confirm.
I
Never had
want
to
to
do
say,
STD training
I
or
want to
any
back up.
STD stuff.
I want to back up for the folks for Melissa. May 18th, 1995, I went to Parris Island, South Carolina, Marine Corps recruit training. Got off the bus. We're sitting in there. We're filling out our paperwork for our dog tags. They get to religion. This is what our drill instructor said. You have 3 choices: Protestant, Roman Catholic, other. That was it.
That's it.
So what she's saying is 100% true. This is 95, not 65, 1995. It
Yeah.
was Protestant, Roman Catholic, other.
So there's been even when I was active duty, there was a distinct difference between the way men and women were treated in terms of our health and our sexual health. There seemed to be this weird presumption that the 4% of women on board my aircraft carrier were somehow infecting the other 96% of swinging dicks around. When I promise you, we weren't even sleeping with them. Okay, so it was crazy how there was an onus on the women that we were to maintain this sexual health and we were to maintain, our sexual planning, our family planning, as it were, while this same, guys in my division were being taken court to for child support and shit all the time. The government was not as concerned what they were doing with their genitals in their off time as they were with us. So I'm not as surprised to hear this news out of the VA as the guys may be. And after, when I went in for treatment with the VA, luckily I got a pretty good doctor. I was at a VA clinic in Greenville, South Carolina, and I had a really good female doctor. So she was a good advocate for me. But I will tell you a horror story. They did not do IUD placements at that clinic. I had to go up to the Salisbury, North Carolina clinic. And that is north of Charlotte. And I was driving from Greenville, South Carolina. I had my appointment time. It took me long enough to get in for that. So I drive up there. Of course, I get caught in a little bit of Charlotte traffic. So I'm 20 minutes late for my appointment. I've had 4 kids now. And when I tell you that I've never had anything as painful in my genitals as what happened that day, because that doctor was angry I was late. And without any local anesthesia, which, by the way, isn't even really common because the doctors still believe we don't have nerve endings in our cervix. So what I went through in that office as this doctor jammed this device through my cervix and I almost passed out and I was told to buck up, I'm not surprised at all by any of this.
Yeah.
The
No,
VA has systematically brutalized women veterans for time immemorial. We are turned down for services. Our complaints are not taken seriously. So the fact that, now abortion is off the table for women who have served the country, I'm not super surprised. I'm not.
I've
I'm not
watched it.
surprised at all. But again, we're going to put this link down. Go sign this petition. Fred, take it.
I watched this happen to my younger sister, who is a West Point graduate, who, like, I saw it. She called me what was happening into her in the Army. And honestly, I was in the Marine Reserves. And she said, "Hey, I've got a basketball scholarship to West Point." I was like, "Don't go to West Point. Don't go in the military." And she's like, "No, no," because my parents were all about it. Like, they were super proud, and rightly so. But I understood how the military treated women. And I was like, "Don't do it." I was like, "Do not do it." She came out with she is an SA survivor from the military, happened in Korea. She's got all kinds of mental health issues from it, you know, all kinds of issues. I'm her I'm her caregiver through the VA. I watched her over damn near 20 years get turned down for superfluous reasons. You don't rate that. You can't prove that. That's not service connected. That's not service connected. She didn't report her essay until like a few years ago, and it was after I urged her because they relaxed. They started to say, okay, we're going to take this into consideration, but she didn't talk about it for a long time, even to me,
Yeah.
and I said, at least talk to your therapist about it. You trust your therapist, the VA, right? She's like, yeah, I've been with this woman for like 6 years. Then talk to your therapist about it. Well, I'm afraid they'll put it on the record. I'm like, I said, you have to get through this. I can't help you. This is the only way I know that maybe can help you, you know? And again, she got med boarded out. They forced her out.
Yeah.
And a big part of it, what I think is because of that,
Yep.
right? Suddenly she went from stellar second lieutenant, first lieutenant to she's a problem. She's not doing this right. She's not. It's like you can see it. You can almost look at their service record books and you see here's a high performer, and then all of a sudden,
Yep.
proficiency and conduct marks start dropping. You start getting paper put on you. And as someone who was an operations manager and someone who's been in, I'm like, I know what this is.
Yep.
I absolutely. They called. She was smart in the military, in the army, and went to a therapist, right? Her command called and harassed the therapist,
Yeah.
who was also
Mhm.
Army. And the therapist said, they're trying to drum up stuff to boot you out. I was like, I'm not playing that game. I'm gonna go ahead and recommended you for a med board. It saved my sister. They were trying to get her out on a bad conduct
Mhm.
at a station that was in Hawaii with air conditioning and government employees during the GWAT.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And
Come on,
like
man.
you I'll use like again, I'll use myself and my family because they used my wife, who was a soldier, who was in the army with me, against me because and used her as a tool while she was very pregnant and was having medical issues during her pregnancy. She used her as they used my wife as a weapon against me to force me to go to a different base for a month and at NTC and be a trainer augmentee to augment the training force for a month while she was pregnant with medical issues because she was a soldier and they owned her and we couldn't say no. But the other sergeant, the other E5, whose wife was also pregnant, she was a civilian. They didn't own her, so they couldn't send him. But damn, they could send me. Oh, and I wasn't going green to gold, which is going from enlisted to officer corps, which I could have and should have and was going to do, if not go warrant. But they fucked my career over because they fucked my wife's career over because they used us against each other
Yeah.
because they wanted one of us out
Yep.
because we were both good at our job. But if you're good at your job and what we did, they separated you because you had different posts you could go to. And men and women are better at certain things in the job that I did because the intel world is very specific. Women are just better at it often. And men don't like that. Men don't like the fact that women are better at intel. They are. Like
Yeah.
the field I was in, women were better. Like I envied the women who were better because they were fantastic. I learned from them. That's who I learned from and trained from because they were better than I was. And that's how I learned to speak to people because I listened to other people and I'm not a fucking idiot. But they used my wife against me to send me to a month-long fucking training exercise to train the same unit I was in, which meant there were other NCOs who could have gone in my place, who were higher ranking than I was, who had more experience than I did. Yet I came out of that with them denying my wife a Red Cross message,
Mhm.
which she got multiple people fired for, was the only reason I didn't get harassed when I came back and got my med board so quickly and smoothly because they fucked me up. And the only reason I got that was because my wife accidentally talked to someone who was a female. She didn't know her rank. She just accidentally said something. And that woman happened to be the command sergeant major of the brigade and fucked everybody else's day up. And then helped me and helped our family out because she believed my wife.
Yep.
She listened to what my wife said. She believed her.
And
The
that's
entire
very
chain of
rare.
command on my team, on my chain of command. It wasn't my wife's chain of command. I will give her chain of command all the credit. They did everything right. They tried. My chain of command, men, all men, said, nope, he's going because we want to fuck his career over.
Yeah.
So this is directly hurting my wife again and my family fucking again. So if you haven't signed this petition, there's 85 of you here. That's 85 people who can sign this petition right now and sign it tomorrow. It's only open for a week. Sign it each day, send it to a friend, copy that link, put it on your Facebook, just fucking blast it to your family text group and say, hey, if you care about women in any way, if you've ever said you cared about a veteran in any way, fucking sign this and tell them that you want women to have the right, veterans to have the right to keep their health care the way it is and not be discriminated against for having a uterus and a vagina. Because
And don't,
fuck Pete Hegseth, he's a piece of shit. He is a taint. He needs to deserve to be swooshed beneath your boot like a bug because he hates women. And someone said it earlier that this was Stephen Miller. I hate Stephen Miller with all the world that I can. This is not Stephen Miller. This is Pete
nope.
Hegseth.
Yep.
To the letter. This is his church. This is what they preach. This
Yep.
is what he believes. Do not let him get away with this because he is a hateful bigot and he hurts women and he hates women. And if they get away with it with veterans, they're damn sure coming after the rest of you.
Yep. And when before I lived in Virginia, I lived in South Carolina that had very strict, of course, restrictions on abortion. But if you are a female veteran in the state, you could access that care at the VA clinics. So that gave female veterans an option when they did live in a red state to access that care. So now all of those women throughout all of the red states who already didn't have that care available to them through their state, now that's being taken away from them.
I live in Arkansas. That's the rest of like healthcare for my wife that would have given her any equal opportunity to healthcare. Like even if she doesn't ever need it, the fact that she can't have it hurts veterans. Like, full stop. If you believe women are people,
Yeah.
then when I say it hurts veterans, I don't need to say anything else.
Thank
Right.
you.
If you believe women are people and deserve rights too, if you believe women, veterans are getting hurt.
So I'm
Don't-
going to
That's
tell
full
you.
stop, period.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
gonna,
Go ahead. I'll say this. Don't fucking thank me for my service. If
Yeah,
you don't do it.
if
You
you
want
don't
to thank
sign
me
this
for my
petition,
service?
if
Stand
you
up for
don't want to sign this petition today, then how else can I don't have it's not Facebook. This is not a Facebook petition. This is a federal document for public comment on a VA policy change.
Yep.
Let's be very specific. This is a federal request for feedback of public comments on a policy request change for the VA. When you sign this, you are showing that citizens care. There are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of copy pasta pieces that go on there from right-wing trolls just to boost the numbers. The Trump administration is going to go on numbers alone. If they say there's more on this side, that's the new policy. So we need to make more on our side and with real stories because the truth still matters. And you all now know 3 stories, 3 veterans who are all telling you this impacts them and their family and another veteran
Yep.
in some way. It impacts the veteran in some way. It impacts every citizen, and every citizen includes you. It impacts every person on U.S. soil. That includes you.
Don't thank me for my service. Like, I get so sick of that shit, because it's like, you're going to vote against the things that I stood up and fought for. Don't
Yeah.
thank me for my service.
Yeah.
If you're going to take away health care from my sister and from the women that she served with that were her classmates at West Point, don't then don't ever thank me for my service. If you're going to take it from a sailor like Melissa, who freaking helped Marines, who has served her country honorably, then don't thank me. Seriously, I get so damn sick of that crap.
And
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
they get such tunnel vision and make it such a binary issue, like that it just boils down to a morality issue. And we've had this discussion about abortion on a national stage where people still claim to not understand that abortion is medical care. There are so many women that have pregnancy complications that threaten their lives.
yep.
And that is why they need an abortion, not because they're
Yeah.
looking for a quick fix for their life problem or they're trying to get rid of a kid real quick, but that they are having a substantial medical issue. So those women that serve their countries, their country, that live in red states,
Hmm.
if something happens during their pregnancy that is a medical condition, we are saying as a nation that we'd rather them die.
Yep.
You'd
Yes.
rather a female veteran die than treat her medical condition that can be resolved with a medical abortion. That's fucking insane. That's
And
absolutely anti-American.
Yes.
and to add on to that horrendous point already, a DNC for a miscarriage is
Yes, it's a
considered
medical
an
abortion.
abortion.
Yes.
I know.
This also pertains to
Do not like,
if you have a full pregnancy and all of the placenta is not delivered, they will order a DNC. That is considered a medical abortion. So you can have a woman who fully delivers a healthy baby who will be left to die
Yes.
yeah,
after that baby is born because the coding for what is needed to save her life is considered a medical abortion. That's
yes,
total insanity.
yeah. It is anti-American. It is disgusting, and I'm almost at a loss for words now because it is so at home every single time we talk about every single issue. If these issues haven't hit home for people yet, like, I don't know what will. Literally every person in this country knows a veteran. If you can't, like we bucket people, we're trying, like, people bucket people all the time. You have, if you're a person who has walked in this country, who is a functioning adult and has a memory that can last more than, what, 51st dates a day, let's say. If you have a functioning memory that lasts longer than a day, you have met a woman. And in that period of time, you know that she is a person. Her rights matter fucking too. Like,
Yes.
stop,
Yes.
stop, like, and I also want to double down on this point too, even more for the men in the back who haven't figured it out. When they ask your wife or girlfriend or whoever it is, the question about when was the last time you had sex? When was the last time you had your period? Does your husband or spouse have a vasectomy? That's your medical information. That
Hmm.
is a violation of your HIPAA privacy protections. However, it is a required question for them to ask your spouse or wife or girl or what a woman, the female, the woman who is there, she has to answer that question, and it invades your privacy too. Ask me how I know, because I know. because I've had to answer that question multiple times because I've had a vasectomy. But it gets asked every single time. If my wife wants to do something, she has to basically have asked for permission ahead of time for her to get it. And she is a functioning, full adult who served her country longer the fuck than I did by 4 years. She did a full 8 years, and like she did her contract. She did her time. She served her time. She does not have to worry about a draft because guess what, guys? 8 years. That's it. You had to have served for 8 years or be discharged honorably for certain reasons, such as medical reasons, or you're getting drafted. And when the draft comes, boys, gentlemen, buckle up, have fun, because they're going to come draft you first, and it ain't going to be me. I already did mine. I'm disabled veteran. I ain't going back. But they're
Well,
hurting
they'll take
all
me to the camp.
veterans.
I'm going to the camp.
They're fucking hurting every single veteran. They're hurting every single veteran. They're hurting every single American. It is
Yep.
anti-American. It is anti-life. It is anti-life what they care about because they've already showed us in Georgia by holding that woman in a fucking vegetative state until she could give birth, and then
Yeah.
that baby had to still go to the NICU and was born premature and had health issues because guess what? You need a functioning, living
Well,
person
they're
to
saying
actually functionally make a baby.
they're saying the quiet part out loud. The Florida Republican senator that said yesterday afternoon he accidentally out loud called pregnant women host bodies.
I'm surprised they don't use the word vessel.
So they're just saying all the quiet parts out loud at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump yesterday said people say they want a dictator, and so maybe he wants to be a dictator. No, Don, they fucking don't.
Right.
Nobody is saying that.
This
Also,
is
women are people. Start treating them like that.
Yeah.
this goes so far beyond the pale of like it's like, oh, I can't say jokes at work without people getting offended. No, this is so far beyond that shit. This is going into, and it's you assholes that are so pissed off at having to curb some speech because you can't tell, your stupid dumb blonde jokes or some sexist joke or, make a sexist comment against to a woman or some shit. That we've gone to now fucking host bodies and the repeal of Roe because because you didn't want to curb your freaking behavior in a workplace, or you didn't
Yeah.
want to freaking because you got turned down for a date one too many times because you're acting like a jackass. I'm so sick of this crap. It infuriates me. It's like, well, thank you for your service. No, bro. I serve for freedom and justice for all. That includes women. That includes immigrants. That includes freaking, ethnic minorities. That includes everybody on U.S. soil.
But I'm
Okay?
gonna tell you how they feel about women's veterans. I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay. I was 8 months pregnant with a abusive active duty husband. And he came home from one deployment and um it was bad, right? So he was fully assaulting me at 8 months pregnant.
Jesus.
So I managed to get out of the house one evening. I had our 18-month-old under my arm. I was in a nightgown, 8 months pregnant. I get out of the house. The neighbor calls the police. So the police he runs. He goes and gets in the car and runs, of course.
Were you in on-base housing or
So
off-base?
off base.
Okay.
Okay.
So the police find him and he tells them he's active duty. So they contact the base and the Navy sends out shore patrol to pick him up. And from then on out, there was no accountability, none at all. So the shore patrol showed up when he had his whatever it was in court. Not like the official thing, but like the day after he got arrested, he goes up in court. Shore patrol says, "We got him. We'll take care of him. We'll keep him on the ship. We'll keep him apart." Yada yada. And mind you, I called his command about his increasingly erratic and violent behavior for months.
Mm-hmm.
And the last phone call, I had a black eye, and the last phone call to his senior chief, this man told me, and I told him, I'm a veteran, man. Like, I served. I was on that ship that you're sitting on, okay? And this guy says, you're not my problem anymore. He is. You need to deal with your domestic issues at home. I'll deal with him when he's on the ship. You deal with them at home. So you need to figure out how to handle your man. And maybe if you watch your mouth, he wouldn't act this way. And he hung up on me. And after he gets picked up, and Shore Patrol takes him back to the boat after promising the city of Chesapeake, Virginia, that they were going to keep him remanded to the ship. 12 hours he was back at our house.
I'm gonna tell the folks that maybe don't really understand this context and why Nick and I right now are kind of fucking furious about this, because it's not just for the abuse. That's infuriating enough. You don't have a personal fucking life in the military. The military owns your life. I'm not being hyperbolic. That's it. What you do off base or in your personal life affects your military life. You go out to a bar and get drunk and you get tossed out and it gets back to your command. Not only do you pay, your entire platoon pays, or your entire company pays. Everybody pays. And that's it. So this notion of, well, he's not my problem. Yes, he is. He is your problem. And there are freaking regs in the UCMJ concerning this crap. It's just you're a sexist piece of shit and you don't want to deal with it. Yep. And that's why it's so fucking infuriating, because that commander could have been like, you know what? No problem. I'll take care of it. We're going to put him in the brig. We're going to do this right here.
Yep.
And
they had plenty of options available to them. And I served under good men who found out that somebody under their command was involved in domestic violence, and that's exactly what happened. They went to captain's mast. They got put in the brig. They were remanded to the ship, and the command made sure that their wife had a safe place to go.
Yep.
I was a fucking veteran, and I got thrown under the bus and told it was my problem.
You need to watch your mouth. He needs to watch his hands.
Yep.
Your government property is misbehaving and not acting according to regulation. You need to fix it. That is actually what they can quote to you. I say words the way I do because I grew up with a full-bird colonel for a father. Like, I know what they can do when you fuck up, because my dad used to do it to people. Like, when you fuck up, sometimes they'll let you sit in prison for the weekend. And then the whole damn unit pays the next day. And then they take your pay away. And then they restrict you to quarters. And I was active duty, and they owned every fucking moment of your life. And if you don't think that's true, that they owned the moments of your life and your spouse's life, then you weren't really in the military, because your spouse didn't have a life outside of the military. And if you live on base, don't fucking expect her to ever have any friends that are outside the military. And guess what? They're all in the military. And there's a hierarchy among all of that bullshit too. So the military owns everything, and military spouses tell on each other and to their command. How do I know? Because we've done it. Because sometimes you have to do it for good reasons, and we do it for good reasons when it's important. But what is all making us so furious right now, where all of this has come from, because we have to loop it back so that everybody knows what we're talking about, because I'm going to put the link in again, and then I'm going to put it in the show notes, and then I'm going to link to the Find Out podcast. And I would like everybody to listen to today's Find Out podcast too. One, they're awesome. Two, we've had Chris Goldsmith on twice. He is a fellow veteran, and he knows what he's talking about. And he pointed this issue out to me this morning, that the VA has a policy request in open for public comment for the next week, for a week only, until I think the 3rd of September, sneakily, quietly. They have a public comment section open right now for feedback. Everybody in this chat, please go and put your feedback once a day until it expires. Once a day. Don't blow it up like right wingers. Do it the real way. Once a day, share it to your friends. They are discriminating. The policy change is to discriminate against women who are veterans by not allowing them to have access to equal healthcare options that men are. Period. Full stop. They're not treating women like people. They're putting them underneath men and saying they're not as important and that their healthcare is valued less.
Yep.
That is discrimination. They're telling my wife, they're telling Melissa, they're telling Fred's sister, they're telling my sister's in-laws, they're telling my family members, they're telling people that I love and care about and have been with and near and dear to, and people that you all care about and who are with and near and dear to, who have probably maybe even never said anything to you about it. They're hurting veterans. They're
And
discriminating against women and calling it anti-choice and saying they can't have abortions if you're a veteran. But guess what? As Melissa rightly pointed out and so eloquently said, and I'm going to repeat, is a miscarriage, is a medical abortion that they're going to do a medical abortion on you called a D&C if you have a miscarriage, or even after you have birth, because it's medically necessary sometimes, and if they don't give it to you, you will die. And they're
and this
saying
is
that's going to be illegal, and you need to sign that petition and say you dissent from that bullshit.
and the thing that we have to fight for this for veterans, right? For women in the military is because we've talked about this is like the military owns your life 100%. If
100%.
they have a segment of that military that's needed, right? Because women are they were filling in more of the service roles because men weren't signing up. If you have that, then they're more likely to get abused. I mean, they already do, but it's going to get worse, right? And for those of you who are like, well, it's like that in the civilian world too. It's no. This is different. And I'm going to tell you why. It's like, I was training at Jacksonville, North Carolina. Okay. I was a reservist. I was there, on a special thing, just, I forgot, what all I had was my utility belt. I'm out in town. This is long enough to where I was at a Sizzler. Okay. I'm having a meal by myself in civilian clothes. Okay. I get my food. I take like 3 or 4 bites. Some freaking major who's having a bad night with his kids comes up to me and busts my ass and says, I don't have the right belt on. Now, I was in regs, but not his regs. I was ordered to leave right then, right now, and get the hell out of Sizzler, not finish my meal. He's pay your tab, get the fuck out. Go back to base and go, or if you don't have, I was like, I don't have the right belt. Well, then sit in the barracks until you have the right one. And I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I was a corporal. The fuck am I going to say to an officer? Right? I'm not going before a captain's mast over a steak dinner.
Yeah.
No. And that is how the military is. And so when you treat a class of people less than, the only thing we have are the regs. That's it. That's our only saving grace. And when you treat women lesser than, you're going to have problems, and it's going to be bad, and people are going to get hurt. That's why we're so passionate about this.
I think you're right. This is definitely coming from Pete Hegseth, but because I think that he's attempting and doing a real bang up job of disincentivizing military service for women. He doesn't want women in the military, but if he just came out and made a rule, no women in the military, that would be ridiculous. So what they're doing, they remove that Marine Corps MPs. So that is a huge safety guardrail for women in the Marines. I hope no women go in the Marines now for that simple reason. And now they're doing this with VA care. So they are working as hard as they can to disincentivize military service for young women, so no young women will go in because they don't want them anyway. And I hate to tell them, an all male military force in the year of the Lord 2025.
You can't have it.
Can't have
It
it.
won't work. It won't work. They don't have enough. I mean, look, just statistically, women do better in school. They are getting more higher ed degrees. It's just, you cannot have an all male military. This isn't fucking John Wayne or, Audie Murphy in some freaking war movie, where it's not that. We don't operate like that anymore. It requires people of technical expertise, educated. I mean, even the cuts to the school systems that we're seeing in elementary, middle school, pre-K, high school, it is fucking our military up because we don't have enough people that can do the technical jobs that we need them to do.
Look,
And
the
you want to
Navy
cut
just
out
had to
50% of the population as well? Man, get
Yeah,
the
the
hell out of
Navy
here.
just had to lower the ASVAB score to reach their recruitment goals for this year. They had to lower the ASVAB score to meet recruitment goals.
It was
That's a
already low when I
problem.
was in. It's
That's
Yeah.
a
already low.
And that's a problem in a fleet that is increasingly going to smart ships that are computer-based ships. You are no longer going to have old-fashioned ships with steel pipes, and they are smart ships. They are driven by computers, and now you're lowering the ASVAB score and pushing women away.
I was
It's
in the
insane.
army. I was in the army where the ASVAB score is already low for some jobs. Like,
Yep.
but nowadays, even even the lowest ASVAB jobs, which is in the army, would be infantry or tanker, I think, are considered the lowest ASVAB jobs. I'm not a or I but it doesn't even matter. There's some super smart fucking people who are infantry. There are some super fucking smart people who are tankers. They just enjoy blowing shit up or shooting at shit, and they wanted to do that job. Like that ASVAB doesn't really mean anything, but until they lower it because there's a cutoff for a reason. Like you can't be too
Yeah.
dumb, and even the army needs smarter people because what happens when you're in the middle of a firefight and you're too dumb to think of an idea on how to fucking move in a different direction other than, oh, grunt, go straight. Grunt, shoot straight. Like, this is not fucking like cavalry. This is not feudalism where you shoot in a line and hope the bullet goes straight over the next quarter mile to hit somebody instead of hitting a farm 3/4 of like a block that way. Like, this is
Or
modern era. We've got drones and shit. Like,
or
and
I
the
was
army is using pack mules that are fucking AI driven and smart. You better know how to fix that fucking thing if it
Yeah.
breaks, because guess what? The army's gonna want it back. They're gonna want you to bring that back no matter fucking what. And that shit's heavy as shit. So you better make sure it's one, doesn't break, and two, doesn't get hit. So you're going to put your body on the line before that piece of machinery. So why are we making dumber people? Like we want smarter, smarter. Think smarter, not harder.
well,
Literally,
even
an
back when
army phrase is think smarter, not harder.
Yep.
even back when I was in, man. Do you think I want someone who's rock fucking stupid when I'm up
No,
there and I have to call for our mortar support and they don't know what the fucking kill radius is on a mortar round, or they don't
dude,
know how to they don't know how to aim the
artillery
damn
guys are smart
thing.
as fuck.
Yeah, they don't know how.
The trigonometry they know, like fuck.
Yeah, they don't
But
know
I
how to
think
aim it.
I
You
think
know,
there's also a little bit of a more insidious factor here because people who have lower intelligence overall are also going to have lower emotional intelligence. And if you're going to start pulling some real fucked up shit with your military, like, I don't know, sicking them on your own people, then you're
Mhm.
probably going to want a bunch of dumb grunts with low emotional intelligence who see this as a game of Call of Duty. That's what they see.
Yes.
They're not thinking about the bigger implications of activating the military within your own nation. They're not going to think about that. They scored a 32 on the ASVAB. Okay.
Yep.
They're lucky they can put their fucking pants on in reg. So,
Right.
yeah. That's the thing. They have low emotional intelligence, so they're easier to manipulate and they're easier to turn into violent fucking animals that will go against you. See, I heard something really fucking interesting that somebody noticed. One of these veterans that headed to DC that's staring down the National Guard right now. He made a really astute observation because he's from Alexandria, so he drives in and out, right? And he's reporting as he goes. And he said, when it was our National Guard, the general attitude from these guys was embarrassment, boredom. They're kind of insecure. They don't really know what they're supposed to be doing, but there was not a sense of aggression.
Mhm.
And so he went yesterday and he encountered his first National Guardsmen from either Ohio or South Carolina, okay? From a red state. And he said this guy looked at us with derision. And all of a sudden, it was like everything's different. You guys sent propagandized soldiers into a liberal city, and they have been primed from birth to think liberals are their enemy. So suddenly, it's not a confused National Guardsman. It's not somebody who just wants to go home. It's somebody who doesn't like you. That's a different ballgame.
Mhm. And and because I have a hard stop that I got to get off at, and because we could talk about this all day, and as much as I want to, I have a mental health appointment that I'm going to go to today because those are important. Um, is this is what the steps towards inciting violence by the people is. This is what that looks like. This is the authoritarian playbook to cause Michael, get the fuck out of this chat. Jesus Christ. I don't know who you are. Nobody gives a fuck about Biden.
Oh,
Nobody
somebody bitching about
fucking
Biden.
cares. Nobody fucking cares about the GOP not forgiving Biden for leaving Afghanistan. Get the fuck out of here. The VA is telling women they cannot have abortions, and the Trump administration has built death camps. I don't give a fuck about Biden. He didn't build death camps in America. Trump does. He's already been booted, but I'm mad because this hurts my fucking family. This hurts people you know. It's hurt me earlier than this. Like, this is not the first time these changes have hurt me. Like, I was out of a doctor for 7 fucking months, almost 6.5, because I got an early appointment and the doctor kind of cared. Like, eh,
You know
kind
why
of
these? You know why
ish.
they never have a
But
leg to stand on, bro? You know why? Because they
why?
never talk about shit that we bring up that Trump does. Never
Yeah.
fucking once. It's always about Biden or Obama or something they did. It's never about what Trump's doing right
Right
now.
the fuck now. It's right now. It is happening right now. If you ask or have ever asked the question in your life, how did the Nazis rise in Germany during World War II? Guess what?
Right now.
This is how this is right now. Because we are watching people. We are being beaten into submission that the idea is we have no power and that we have to go to violence and the next step is violence. And I'm also here to tell you, as fucking angry as I am and as pissed off right now as I am, the last thing we are doing is violence. We are going to maintain peacefully and patriotically until there is no other option. And when that other option happens, then we fight back with everything we have swiftly and uh, and until we are done. But until that point, I will continue to tell you peacefully and patriotically because we cannot give them the we cannot give them the tool that they need to say we're taking over. Somebody is going to do it. I am also here to say, as somebody who was in the intelligence field, when you dismantle the internal counterintelligence system of a country and then let white supremacists and known terrorist organizations let them run loose in this country and then give groups of people the ability to wear masks and no badges or identification. If you are not expecting a false flag terrorist event in this country to happen
Oh, it's
within the
gonna.
next 60 to 90 days, I don't fucking know what else to tell you at this point.
I think and
I
here's
don't know what else to tell you
and
at this
here's what
point
I'll
because it's coming. And
here's
if
what I'll
you're not preparing yourself for helping people, for caring about each other, for understanding your communities, and maybe 60 to 90 days is too soon. Maybe I'm overestimating or being too aggressive. But the speed at which they're moving and the violence at which they're trying to perpetrate on us does not make me feel safe, and it
no
should not make you feel safe. But also, you must remain peaceful and patriotic because we cannot be the ones who start violence. And if a false flag happens or an event happens, your immediate response must be, is this true? Question it. Your
Yeah.
immediate response must be, how did this happen? Who did it? Why did it happen? Where did it happen? When did it happen? And with what tools did it happen? You must ask every
Yeah.
question because you cannot believe the government right now because then they take control.
Yep.
Like I told my son is 20 years old and he's mad and he wants to go out and throw Molotov cocktails. And I
Don't
told
no.
him, if you do that, you have let Donald Trump script you into his reality TV.
Yep.
Don't be Donald Trump's bitch.
Mhm.
Do not offer yourself as a free actor in his reality television setup. Don't do it. Don't
And
do it.
I'll say
Then you
this.
are playing right into what he wants.
I'll say
Yes.
this too. I'll just say this, and I know you got to go. We'll end it real quick. Or
Yeah, I'll end it after we've
yeah,
all
yeah,
gotten our feels out here.
yeah. No, so for me, it's I want if this reaches MAGA, right? It's not that we're afraid to fight. That ain't it. We just know we know for those of us who, to Melissa's point, who are more emotionally mature, we understand the cost of violence. We understand the cost that by people dying and people getting hurt. We understand that cost. But make no mistake, if you push us to that point where we have no other option, if you cut off every single means of nonviolent means of protest, I can promise you, you ain't gonna like it because there is a hell of a lot more of us than there are of you. And you're gonna wake up and when you take stock, you're gonna be like, oh shit, we're
Mhm.
outnumbered. And at that point, I'm telling you, this is me begging you. You push people to that point, when they come against you, they ain't gonna have no more mercy. There ain't gonna be no more understanding. There ain't gonna be no more tolerant left. There ain't gonna be no more time for talking. It's gonna get bad. And I'm saying this as someone who has been trained for violence and as someone who has studied history of violence. It will be bad and you will suffer. So don't push it there. You might want to go back to your people and say, you know what? Maybe we're going a little too far. And maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So I'm telling you, like once it starts rolling, it's gonna be
So
bad. It's gonna
So
be bad.
to so to end it, and thank you, Melissa, for coming on. Thank you,
Thank
Fred,
you.
for coming on. I know it wasn't our original guest, um, but that's okay because we roll and we needed to talk about this and this
We
needed to
did.
come out. And so in the post show notes, like I've been saying, I will link to the Find Out podcast episode so everyone can go listen to it. I will also link directly to the link that Melissa just posted so everyone can click on it and write a comment because this is a public comment section on a federal document for policy change. This is not you just signing your name that you want to be part of a petition. Put a comment on there for a personalized, professional meaning story and how it impacts you. Short, concise. You know 3 veterans now personally. Every single one of you here can firsthand say you know 3 veterans personally who are telling you it will hurt veterans if they change the policy to allow women to be discriminated against and not to allow women to have full access to health care. So please go sign this petition or sign this public comment section. Share this public comment section with everyone you know. Like and share the post video with everyone you know. Share the link. Make sure that they sign the public comment section too with a small, simple personal story, and do it every day. Slightly different stories. Don't make them the same. Don't copy paste, but put something so that they know that we matter and that we mean something. Because if you do not stand up now, if you keep silent when they are coming after people who look like you're next. And so I thank every single one of you for being here. This is your entry point into civics and your entry point into helping not just restore, because we can't go back, but to reigniting and reinvigorating an American democracy that's progressive and has values and cares about people and dignity. Thank you for being here with us. Fred, Melissa, thank you for coming on with me today. I appreciate both of you so much, and I will see you all again. This is the Banner and Backbone Media, and we are so excited to have all of you here with us. Thanks, everyone. Please subscribe to my 2 friends and colleagues, and we will see y'all again. Thanks.
Have a good one.